So hey everybody, welcome back to Relentless Talk Radio. This is segment 3. This is the Art Entrepreneurism segment with Ryan Ingram from Ingram Entertainment. So Ryan is actually in his car, and I just love this. You're in your car because you're in between your office and picking your kid up from school, right?
And an event. I'm flying out to Austin right after this. So I pick up my kids, drop them off to the sitters, zip out to the next city.
And it was funny when we were setting this call up, you were like, it was like having a conversation with like a regular radio person, right? Like, no, this is what Relentless Talk Radio is all about. Yeah. It's about what entrepreneurism actually looks like. You know what it looks like? It looks like you're pulling your heel on as you're bouncing out the door. You're shutting the door. You're texting your best friend. Your mom's calling you. The kids are screaming, and you have an event in 30 seconds, right? That's exactly what entrepreneurism is, right?
100%, definitely.
So tell everybody who you are and what it is that you do.
All right. So my name is Ryan Ingram. I am an entertainer. So for the last 22 years, I've been a professional MC, DJ, dance instructor, and choreographer. So in 2010, we launched Ingam Entertainment, which basically rolls all of that into one company. So we provide entertainment services for life's most memorable events, like private and corporate events, weddings, bar and bat mitzvahs. I do a lot of dancing and choreographing. We have a cover band. So anything arts, entertainment, dance, music, good vibes related, that's what I do.
See, now you and I met through BNI.
Yep.
We have a mutual friend, the owner of BNI, named Dominguez. You went to high school with him, right?
Actually, elementary school. So he was in first grade when I was in fourth grade doing the talent show. And that show was where I realized this is what I'm going to do.
And then shortly after that, we had a coffee because I was doing an event. I was working on a potential event out in Gilbert, and I was looking to bring on an entertainment partner. And we had a memorable conversation that endeared me to you for us to each other. I think
totally.
Could be sitting at school there, but we're both artists. We're both creatives. We both have huge hearts for service. And we both believe that art and business are co-aligned. Yes. That they're not separate. They're one and the same. And that business is not a dirty word as it relates to art.
For sure. And that's one of the biggest things that's one of the biggest things I feel, and through my experience, holds artists back is they have a mental block around the business aspect of their art.
Well, I know I did, and you and I discussed this. I did when I was younger. Well, up until 5 years ago when I started my consulting company and started to use my visual journalism practice as a marketing tool to market my consulting company, that would bring me back around to being an active artist and philanthropist and business person and, combined, and also health and fitness related. So a lot of what you and I also do is because dance is physical. Yep. We also have that fitness component together. So, you and I resonated right away with how we look at life. And the only thing that I didn't do that you've done is you've procreated. You have two babies, right?
Yeah, two.
You have 2 babies in your wife, and I see one little guy in the back seat. That's so awesome. I love it. Is he playing with? He's being so good.
He's watching a movie. He's watching the movie Wonder. So he's got his headphones on, and we don't even have cable. So screen time is a thing that we only utilize for special circumstances like this. Yeah. And so he's getting a treat right now.
Yeah. So that's awesome. That's awesome. So why dance? Why? How did that happen? Because you're a dude. Yeah. Right? So dancing for a girl is kind of natural, but you're a dude, and you're not you're a dude. And I'm not like a ballet dancer kind of person.
No,
but
I dance like a dude even. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So, honestly, that just really came from my family. My mom grew up in Cleveland, and she grew up listening to funk and R&B, and she was on the pom team, and she taught jazzercise, and my Uncle Bill loved to country dance, and I was the first born grandson, nephew, niece, whatever, in my family. She's one of 6 brothers and sisters. So when I came out, it was everybody was dancing with me. And I mean, we have footage of me at like 3 years old, like doing a step touch, you know, with my big old thunder thighs. It just kind of, dance was a part of our family culture, you know. And so I'll never forget that year in fourth grade. I'm in school at elementary school, and, you know, this is the 80s. This has got to be 80, 87-ish, 86, 87. We were doing breakdancing on the cardboard and linoleum in the garage. And, you know, I'm in my class one day and I hear over the loudspeaker, talent show auditions today immediately after school. So I ran home, grabbed my electric breakdance tape, ran back to school right as they were closing the auditions. I thought I was late. They let me pop in my tape, and I got up there and I just got busy. And next thing you know, I'm in the talent show, fourth grade. And then the night of the show, as soon as I did the moonwalk, the whole room erupted, and I had no idea that was going to happen. It was just what we were doing because it was fun, because, you know, all the beat street and breaking and flash dance. Like, my mom loved those movies because of the dancing in it, because she was a fan of dance. So taught myself how to do the moonwalk, and then I did it on stage at the talent show, and everybody lost their mind. And hearing that roar from the crowd at 10 years old, I got hooked. There was nothing there's nothing even to this day that can replace that feeling when you're standing on stage and the whole room erupts for something that you're doing, for something you're sharing, and you're being vulnerable, and it's scary and it's nervous, right? You're putting yourself at issue. And so when people scream for that, it got me hooked. It's like a drug.
That's so awesome. You know, it's funny, as you're talking, my mom grew up in a hotel in Ireland, and it was the only ballroom dancing. That was back when ballroom. So there was a big ballroom dance room in my grandparents' hotel called the Bella Ballroom, because my grandmother's name was Bella. Wow. So to this day, my mom, if ever we were upset, she would grab us and we would dance in the kitchen, right? Yeah. So it's funny. I've started to do that with Doc, and he's like, "Oh no, I don't want to dance." I'm like, "Yes, you do. This is really hard to be grumpy when you're dancing."
Totally, definitely.
Yeah, I think it's like that. It's really hard to be angry and upset when you're dancing.
Yeah, of course, unless you're like using it to like let out that frustration or anger, and then you're turning it into positive energy. So I think dancing is really like transformative, and not just on a personal level. It transforms communities, societies, all kinds. I mean, look at hip hop in general. It's $1 billion worldwide industry, and the b-boys and the breakdancers were part of what made that culture mainstream.
And that I'm going to ask you this question earlier than the end of the conversation, but you're actually putting together a hip hop international dance event.
Yes.
So tell me more about that. And I'm just fascinated, because you're saying in other countries that this dance form that was actually created here in the United States is actually more popular in other countries than it is here.
Yeah, the foundation. Like, so in hip hop in general, what do you think of, like, most people in the United States, when you mention the word hip hop, most people think of rap music like Run DMC, NWA, forgive my language, you know, money, hoes, and clothes, right? Well, hip hop is actually a culture celebrating through music, art, and dance. And there's 4 elements that hold this culture and bring it together. And it's the DJ, first and foremost. The DJ plays the records. The B-boys and B-girls are the original dancers for hip-hop culture. Then you have the MCs, which created rap. And then the written word in hip-hop is graffiti art, street art. And so the hip-hop culture in other countries, in its pure form, is really celebrated. And they honor those traditions. Here, we've kind of capitalized off rap music. So what most people in the United States picture when they think of hip-hop is really pop rap. It's not even really hip hop at all, you know. And you have these kids that grew up in the burnt down Bronx in the 60s and 70s, where the police wouldn't even go to the neighborhood, and that's where this culture rose up out of the ashes of the burnt down Bronx, celebrating life through music, art, and dance, knowledge, wisdom, understanding, peace, love, unity, and fun. So what better way to honor that culture than to bring all the best dancers in the world from all over the world and the pioneers of the culture to Phoenix, Arizona during one of the most beautiful times of the year, when the rest of the country is here, and have this international street dance competition. It's going to be called the Iron Styles Classic.
Oh, see, you didn't tell me what it was. It's going to be March in 2020, right?
Yeah, March 2020. We're working on it right now. We've got some of the pioneers in the game that are signed up and are on board, and they're going to come out. And we're talking like people that taught the famous people that we all know and adore, like the people that trained Michael Jackson, right? The people that have all of those stories, how they made the street dancers change in the bathroom while the real dancers had the tour bus and had the dressing room. Oh, and I'm being interrupted. Did you lose your headphones, buddy? No, you got to wear them because I'm on an interview. Hold on. Let me see that.
So this is what entrepreneurship is like with children. I swear, it's so awesome.
Yeah, well, and even with children in general, I mean, at least it's not a poopy diaper. So a lot of times we'll be running out the door and it's like, oh, not only can we not leave on time, we got a big old mess to clean up.
You know, my dad, I didn't have children, but I was a child. So my crib was in my parents' bike shop, and I often joke and say, more people in Rutland, Vermont have changed my diaper than I care to. So, and to this day, it's like all my friends from where I grew up are on my Facebook page, and they'll all say, your dad, every time I bought a new bike, your dad would bring it out. Like your dad changed lives, you know? And that's where I grew up, in the middle of that. So how cool. So of course I ended up being the person I am, right?
Yeah, naturally. So, how could you not?
What have the lessons been for you as an entrepreneur?
You know, one of the biggest lessons I've learned is really just honoring that part inside of you, that spark that is speaking and is actually dying to get out and to be let loose. You know, I almost didn't do that. I almost settled for what I'm supposed to do, and I wasn't honoring what was really inside me, which was performing, which is you know, sharing my passion on stage with people. And I was going to be the first person in my family to earn a college degree. My aunts and uncles and parents had been saving for my college tuition since the day I was born, and they thought it was really important. Well, luckily I had a mentor who invested in me and paid for me to do a personal development program. And out of that, I really realized it's like, hey, you know, I'm going to author my own life, and there's no road for what I'm going to do carved out for me. So I'm going to carve it myself. And part of that came from just the belief, knowing that I can do it. And if it's to be, it's up to me. You can't wait for anybody to save you. You got to save yourself, and you got to take the actions to make it happen inch by inch. And the biggest thing that really set it aside was to picture my future and then live in it every day. Do small bite-sized action steps that live in my future every day. And I'll give you a perfect example of how that's manifested itself. So for this big corporate event that I'm doing, it's a $1 billion company. There's going to be 8,000 people at this event. The role I had didn't even exist. I painted my own value and carved this role, and they're now flying me out to hold the energy of a conference for 3 days for 8,000 people. And that didn't exist before I had the idea and the vision. And so I held strong to that, and I didn't know which arena, I didn't know which company it would be, but I could see myself on stage playing the music and holding the vibe for the energy as these people are coming to this event to change their life, so I could be a little bit more gas on that fire and create more value for them and add impact. And so I'm going to just go with another one. Don't worry about results. Focus on adding impact everywhere you go. Be a contribution. Make impact everywhere you go. Be helpful. Hold the door open for other people. It starts with little small things like that. But if you become a person of value so that you're constantly contributing everywhere you are, people will pay you to be that energy, to be that presence. Big companies will.
You know, Janet McConnell is commenting as we speak. She says, honor the spark.
Yeah, honor the spark.
And I've got that comment below on the screen right now. Honor the spark. So, yeah, you know, I love that. I love that because, you know, as you know, I've been going through transition.
Yeah.
And so I've had a lull in energy. But as I get back into it, it's funny how the interviews that I've had recently, as I talk about transition, how they're totally in alignment with where I'm at, because you know, how I've created my business and what I do is all around my passion. It's all around what I believe in. And, you know, sometimes you do think, you know, it would be so much easier if I just had a job.
Yeah.
But not really. Because then, you know, then you wouldn't be showing up as yourself. You'd be showing up as Janet said earlier, you're showing up as somebody else.
Yeah. And you're compromising your freedom for security and certainty. So,
which there is not anymore. I love who's the comedian that did the Christmas movie and The Grinch?
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey. I love his story when he talks about his dad, who was an accountant, but he could have been a fantastic comedian. And he went into accounting because he wanted security. Yeah. And then 12 years into that, got let go anyway and ended up like homeless and like broke.
Yeah, it's all an illusion.
You can fail. You can fail at plan B. You might as well do plan A, is what Jim Carrey said.
Yeah, 100%. And you know, part of the thing is, it's like you look at what's happening in our society today, and there's a lot of you know, depression and anxiety and these voids people are having in their lives because they're not really living with purpose. They've traded that kind of purpose and that passion for, I hate to say it, a lot of times it's benefits, because that's safe and secure. And apparently, or it appears to be, but it's all an illusion, you know. And here's a phrase, you know, it's like, how come a bird will land on any branch and is not afraid to land on any branch? Because it's not worried about the branch. It's confident in its own ability to fly. Right. So if the branch breaks, the bird can go wherever it needs to go. Yeah. And you keep that, and you sharpen your axe, and you commit to a lifelong of learning and personal development, adding value everywhere you go, and you know, you'll be turning down opportunities.
Which is so awesome. So this transition thing, time blocking. I'm getting back my time blocking back in. Are you able to time block with the kids and stuff? I mean, do you use time blocking?
I have, you know, that's an illusion in itself. Like, for example, with the just today, you know, I have this time block where my kids are at school, where I have a certain amount of things to get done, but I also have a lot of things that are flying, you know, and in this gig economy that I'm in, I'm constantly dealing with production and things adapting on the fly, and the call sheet and all of this stuff being updated by the minute. So today there were 2 hours of time that I had dedicated to get stuff done, which then ended up locking me down in a production meeting for the event that I have this weekend that I'm doing, because, you know, things were communicated properly on their end. So we have to clean it up on this end. And, you know, I like to break things down into small bite-sized increments so you can get 15 minutes of pure productivity in. Sometimes you can get more done in a 15-minute concentrated time than if you have 2 hours wondering what the heck you're going to do. So that's how I really manage things, is I will buckle down and I'll knock out 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes at a time, whatever time permits, and get as much stuff done, create as many things rolling as I can, and then, you know, get to the next block. Because a lot of this, especially in parent mode, like I'm a full-time dad running my business and supporting my wife and her businesses too. She's an entrepreneur. So how do we manage all of that and still be present for our kids? You know, and a lot of it is reactive, but also, you know, not making any excuses and playing full out, and, you know, being unreasonable.
To watch you parent, and I'm always amazed that, you know, you're a young guy, how patient you are. I'm impressed with you.
Well, thank you. I had 22 years of practicing on other people's kids.
That's good. I think it helps when you're a little older, when you actually give birth. I think
I mean, you know, what's so funny is, before I had kids, you know, watching parents deal with their kids, I always had it in my mind, like, I'm going to do this, I'm not going to do this, you know, blah, blah, blah. My little daughter's looking over there waiting for me to come pick her up. So I got to wrap this up. But, you know, it's in practice, it's one thing, or in theory, always always a lot brighter in theory, and in practice when it gets real, it's
Well, yeah, so I'm glad to know you're human. So you have an event coming up in October for Halloween at Dose Moving Storage.
Yes, it's called The Return of Funkenstein.
Yep.
It's a Halloween event. We're also partnered with Dose of Hope, which is Dose Moving and Storage's nonprofit. So we donate a portion of the proceeds to help the homeless with essential items, like socks, toothpaste, just stuff, warm blankets, things like that, to help them get through another day. And it's also, what's up, babe? How was your day? Good. This is Boston.
Hey, Boston. How's it going there, sweet pea?
She can't hear you because I'm on the headphones, so you can just see it. So, yeah. The Return of Funkenstein is Halloween costume contest. We've got dancers that have been on America's Best Dance Show on MTV, that have been on World of Dance. We have a burlesque performer, and then we have my cover band, which is full of awesome entertainers. So it's a night full of good drinks, good music, great people, fun costumes, and it's also a great way to network and meet other like-minded professionals, because that's generally the type of people that come to this events. These types of events.
So I'm going to try to be there. As always, I'll shout you out. And if I am there, I'm always dancing, up front and center, because I believe you got to bring good energy, right? So I'm going to let you get back to being a parent and get on with your event. Thank you so much for coming on Relentless Talk Radio. If people want to get a hold of you, how do they get a hold of you?
Email Ryan@ingramevents.com. That's Ryan@INGRAMEVENTS.com. Ryan@ingramevents.com.
Awesome. Thanks, buddy. Well, hopefully I'll see you in a couple of weeks, and thanks for taking time out. And you kiss Boston for me and tell her thank you when you get off the line there.
I will. Thank you very much. It's an honor. I'm honored to be on this and share this time with you. Thanks for thinking of me. Appreciate it.
Take care of yourself.
Right. See you later.
All right, everybody. That's episode 42. It's a wrap for Relentless Talk Radio. And so next week we have 2 more really awesome folks. I'm taking a look at my schedule if I can actually get to it. Next week will be, let's see, Maria Williams from Life Vantage, and 2 designers from Fabric. I'm hoping it's going to be Carol Mickey and Ruby Ferris, but I'm waiting to hear back from them. So the 4th Tuesday of the month, I'm going to be interviewing fabric designers from Tempe, and then Maria Williams is a Life Vantage rep and an entrepreneur. So I hope to see you back here next week for episode 43 of Relentless Talk Radio. Episode 42 is a wrap. So thanks a lot, everybody. Have a really great Tuesday. Take care.